What up, y'all? Thank you so much for tuning in to the Tastemakers Pod. You know, where we talk about the current events and the things that are popping off in the culture and, of course, the CHH culture as well. I've got Trish right here. I've got Bree below me, and I got my man, light-skinned Corey, right there. Y'all see how I had my points on point and he's in and out? Yeah. That's what it is. It is. Anyway, definitely, we got topics. We got all kinds of things to talk about this week. But before we get into all that, we did need to recognize that today would actually be the 45th birthday of DJ Pioneer for Christian hip hop, DJ Official. And for more on that, I'm going to go ahead and send you to Trish. Trish, talk to him.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about my brother, DJ Official, aka Fish, Nelson Chu. He was such a good brother, like even outside of, him DJing and him, producing for Cross Movement and Reach and a whole bunch of cats. Yeah. He was just Fish, you know what I mean? I know my husband has plenty of stories, but when he first moved to Philly, Fish and Teresa, his wife, they let him stay at their house because, he was, just trying to find a place to stay. And, they just showed so much hospitality to my husband and even to me, and just, all the people that they loved. That he loved, and he was just such a good man, very caring, super real, just so real. And I think that we as CHH, like as a community, definitely should be talking more about him because I feel like there's a lot of artists that don't even know who he is.
Know who he is, yeah.
Problematic. It's so problematic.
That is.
He is definitely a pioneer. His sound was really the main sound that you hear if you listen to any Cross Movement album. Like he was the foundation, you know what I mean? So big up to my brother Fish. Wish he was still here. I'm getting a little choked up, but yeah.
Yeah, 45 is too young. I only got a chance to meet Fish a couple times, but as I don't like to say that I'm a DJ because I have so much respect for what DJs do on the ones and twos, but I've been in radio for almost 20 years now and been a program director and a curator of playlists and stuff like that. So we looked at DJ Official, and for a season, he was that cat, you know what I mean? He was our guy to look at as a DJ doing his thing and what we could do. And I know that P-Dog would say the same thing and different things of that nature. And every time I did get a chance to meet him, which like I said, was only a few times, definitely very pleasant. But we looked at him as, okay, this is what you want to do in the Christian hip hop space. And then when he did release, different things with his production and the remixes of certain tracks and stuff like that, it was just bonkers. I got the Cam Forward Me joint in my head right now. That was just from the I forgot the name of his mixtape that he released.
Intermission.
Yes. And but yes, DJ Official was a real one. He definitely helped to make that move from what Crossmove was doing to even Reach becoming what Reach is. I believe he definitely had a lot to do with that and just the stability and the foundation that he was. And that's what it is. Definitely happy birthday, happy 45th birthday to DJ Official. I didn't know if Bria, Seagoss, if y'all had anything to say or add on to that at all.
I just knew he was a real cool dude. I seen him a few times on tour with Cross Movement. He's always the DJ. He looked like he was just super chill all the time, super like about business, but ready to be about his father's business as well too, if you get what I mean. And then from artists that I knew that knew him, like Jared used to tell me about him. I heard stories from Jared about him, things like that. Like he was bigging up, like Jared would tell you that he's part of his reason why Jared is what he is today as a Christian rapper. Because Fish was bigging him up when Jared wasn't doing Christian rap.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that was kind of unheard of back then in the Cross Movement days. where you're stepping out of your circle from Christian hip hop and checking out a Jared Sanders, and now you see the fruit of that a couple years later. So yeah, just heard stories like that about him, but never actually got to meet him. But I've definitely heard his impact.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Bree, anything?
Yeah, I mean, I never had the chance to meet him, but I'm definitely a huge fan of his sound and his craft. But one thing I do want to say was I really miss his tweets. His tweets were always they were always gold. But he seemed to have a huge personality, and the community really misses him. So happy birthday!
Wow. Trish
happy
said
birthday,
it.
Fish.
Yeah, happy birthday, Fish, for real. We definitely want to take the time to, we don't do it enough in CHH. Trish said actually this earlier, to honor those who came before us or those who are no longer with us in the CHH space. So we definitely wanted to take time to do that. All right, with that being said, thank you guys again for joining us here at the Tastemakers Pod. Let's get into the first topic of the night. CHH Trade Wire. We like to do something a little gimmicky, a little fun coming in, just kind of crack the ice a little bit. Of course, the cruise is always a place where we draw inspiration from. Shouts out to Jay and Chris. But they put, if you had to trade a member of Reach to be on GOM, who would you trade them for and why? Could this possibly be a 3-label deal? So we said, hey, we like to put our opinions in on this. Actually, I did, because somebody was trying to trade Jared for Andy, and I was like, nah, that's not even a good look. Let's not even do that. I was saying that's a bad take. But let's talk about it.
Why? Wait, why?
Well, he was saying Jared for Andy, and he was saying because Jared is his least favorite God of Money artist.
What?
That's wild.
Wow. Wow.
Least
favorite.
When I saw that, I had to chime in. I mean, you can't scroll down on the tweet right now, but if you go to the internet, I was like, look, so in true debate show fashion, that was a horrible take. I was like, that's a horrible take.
I would argue he's the best.
Besides outside of Bizzle, and even I'll be honest with you, I don't think Jared gets the recognition he deserves. We all probably think, now, speaking of which, though, I would love to actually see Jared and Andy probably. Matter of fact, I think Jared told me that he has Andy on the next project. So definitely looking out for that. I want to say, if I remember, Jared told me that. Yeah,
Jared be lying though. So I don't know. Jared said that he heard a Murder Mook verse too before he heard, a Tay-Rock joint. That's if y'all like battle rap, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Got you.
But Jared be lying though. Jared be lying. So I don't know.
Not lying on him.
Right. But listen. We figured we want to get involved in this. We figured we wouldn't just limit it to Reach and God Over Money. Of course, you got RMG and you've got maybe some other indie cats that we can look at as well as Indie Tribe and different things even though they're not officially a label. But let's talk about it. I figured I'd throw this grenade at your girl Trish first, and we'll see what you got. What you got, Trish?
Okay, so these are my girls. Both of them, love both of them.
Ooh.
I would swap AI with Wande just because I would swap AI to Reach because I feel like Reach needs Wande, she's got her bars, but she's more of the mainstream sound. Like it's like, she's got the catchy lines and stuff like that. AI has bars on bars on bars, right? And I don't hear a lot of bars on bars on bars besides Andy and sometimes Lecrae in Reach. In Reach right now. Reach Records. So I feel like I would put AI with Reach, even though I wouldn't necessarily think. I don't think she's just different. That's why they need somebody a little different in terms of sound. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then I think Wande with God Over Money because just Wande brings this
level of I see you. It's a good trade. That's a good trade.
I feel like it would spice it up a bit. You know what I mean? But that's just my opinion.
I think that's a good trade. That is a good, solid trade right there. I'm gonna make a take and say I bet you that's gonna be the best trade we come up with on this show right tonight. I think so. But let's see if somebody can prove me wrong. Corey, what you got,
All
man?
right. So first of all, we seen what happened to the Lakers this year, and let's even go back to 2004 when they tried to create that super team, and they lost to the Detroit Pistons. And this year they're gonna lose to the Brooklyn Nets. Right?
Nice little take there. I see. We'll see.
So it's not about, I feel like, trying to build a super team, but it's about who fits the best with what they're trying to do. Feel me? So you said AI and Wande. You feel me? I don't know. Because I think that Wande may be too poppy for GOM. She may be too, girly. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Like AI fits GOM because she's like that girl wearing the Timbs. And you know what I'm saying? Like she's that girl. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, yo, do you want to have these bars or do you want to sell these records?
Right.
So it's like, I feel you on that too. So I don't know if AI could adjust to what the reach, the reach space looks like for her selling records. You understand me? So if I'm trading some folks,
okay, what you got?
I like the Jared and Andy trade. I really do, but I like it for different reasons though. Okay?
Let's see why. I
like Andy on a GOM because Andy can make records. Andy knows how to make records, right? Mm-hmm. Bizzle can sing a little bit. He got the little, joint going, the little fa-la-las going a little bit. But like Andy got that commercial pop sound that I feel like GOM could use, right? And not just be all gangster, shoot 'em up in Jesus' name bars. You know what I'm saying?
Shoot 'em up in Jesus' name.
Because I feel like that's the thing. Like, you feel me? Like I feel
I feel that. Because that's kind of what I was saying one day with them.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying
and
that.
Jared works perfect over at Reach because Jared can give you bars, but he can make records too. You know what I'm saying? And Jared can sing.
He can sing.
Jared,
he can.
Listen, I had no clue Jared could sing until he sent me a few
he told
of his
me
joints.
He's got an R&B album coming out. He said he's going.
Who is this guy? That's what I'm saying.
I am hyped. First of all, I'm hyped about that. I just want y'all to know.
Yeah.
That's going to do a whole different. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm not excited about it, but at the same time, I feel like he is versatile enough to where he could fit at Reach and not have to lose who he is as a person because he makes records, for both both generations, and it's still being true to himself. So I like the Jared and Andy trade, and I'm with it. Let's make it happen. And if they want to really OD, you know what I'm saying, we'll throw in Harvey. You can get Andy and Harvey for Jared.
Okay.
You heard.
That's not now. Yeah, I can't see the young boy on GOM. I will challenge you on this. We talk about Andy being commercial, and I believe at the beginning of his career he was. Mm-hmm. These last few albums and the album I think that's about to come out next week, next week, whatever.
Next week.
They're a little bit more. They're not as poppy. A little bit more indie sound. I mean, think about it. He's really kind of backed off of the poppy thing. He's a little bit more exploration that's going on right now. With
because Andy. He's dissing white people. So you're right. And you cannot be commercial dissing white folks. So you're absolutely right.
I don't know.
I do agree.
People have dissed white folk on wax.
Yeah, but not the way Andy was doing it just now. But also, if we're honest, it's because he's made enough money to where he doesn't need them anymore either. So let's be clear on that too. You understand me?
All right. So you went ahead and you gave us the positives of the Andy and Jared trade. Again, I don't know how it would work because again, I don't see Andy as being that commercial artist that he was when he first got into the game. So I don't know if it would benefit GOM from that standpoint. But I think Jared would definitely benefit. I think it would. I think Jared. Well, I mean, Andy would benefit any. He is
Absolutely.
yeah, he'd benefit anybody. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I just don't know that it would be he benefits from a commercial appeal. I don't know
Gotcha.
that would be the benefit necessarily. It'd be
And
good to
Jared
see
might
Andy.
Jared might not take a 360 deal either, so I don't know. He may have to chill for a minute.
You got no facts. You have no facts.
Wait, a 360 deal. Nobody does 360 deals anymore. Now, if that's happening, that's real interesting to me. Because who's doing 360 deals?
We don't know it to be true.
We don't have any receipts.
Where your receipts at?
Right. I need receipts because if that's the, you know what? It's okay. I can find out. Go ahead.
There you go. There you go. Yo, Bree, who you trading and why?
I think I've been thinking about this, and I would actually send Bumps to Reach for Andy Mineo.
Huh.
Bumps for
It's
Andy.
it's kind of a lateral move, but I would really like to see Andy on that GOM roster, but with Jared.
Right.
I wouldn't want to trade. Yeah. So that's why.
You're gonna have to give Bumps to somebody else though. It's good. Bumps
how is Reach gonna?
But see, I don't want to give up. I don't want to give up Dayton either, huh?
How's Bumps? How is Reach gonna benefit from Bumps?
Because they're not.
I mean,
we need another. We need another player in that trade. There needs to be another person from GOM heading over.
Bumps and Eternal Life. You'd be good.
That could work. That could work. But see, I don't want to give.
What about Selah? I mean, Selah, he real. He grimy. He got that boom.
We might need three more. Another player. No shots to Selah. Selah definitely. I just think Bumps. We definitely gonna need another player if we're gonna try to match with Andy.
Yeah, definitely.
But Selah and Bumps for Andy, that'd be interesting. It would definitely put a little street cred into Reach's. Maybe that's it. Maybe it gives some street cred for Reach because right now they don't really got no street cred, do they?
1K few?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe.
Maybe.
I am interested to hear about this 1K few Lecrae join. It seems like Lecrae and 1K view is making. I think, like I said, Lecrae is the perfect chameleon. He can fit in pretty much different joints. He keeps adapting. And 1K view when he's in his bag.
Facts.
He's in his bag. Like he's not always in his bag.
This is a fact.
But when he's in his bag, which is what they're saying, he's in his bag right now. 1K makes some hits.
When do you consider 1K in his bag? Give me a song you're like, yo, 1K was in his bag in this record.
Yo, there's a joint with 1K, KB, and Paris. That joint is ridiculous. And it's all 1K for the most part. I mean, that's
a crazy lineup.
Oh man, it's a dope track.
Is it on what album is it on?
Let me grab the phone.
That's not like a domination lineup.
He got a song called Already. It's already in Gas You Up on that. It's like a short little EP joint.
1K KB. That's what KB does. 1K KB. Yo, it's a dope track. It's called Back Soon. And it's a 1K few track featuring KB in Paris. But 1K's hook
is crazy.
It's ridiculous. And the track is crazy too, don't get me wrong, but it's like he's gonna be back soon. It's about 2 years old. But and then when 1K's first project or whatever, he had some great hits. When 1K's in his bag, it's boom boom. Yeah. When he's not, it's like okay, what you doing, young boy? But yeah. So that's interesting. All right, I guess it's my turn here. So this is what I want to do, and I'm not sure. I still haven't really solidified this trade in my head. But what I would like to do is get, and maybe 1K is the answer here. I'd like to get Cannon off of RMG. Let's get him to Reach. to go back to where he began as Lecrae's hype man, and that's when we really got introduced and enjoyed Cannon, was when he was more so doing these rap, real fast, whatever the case may be, and he was doing more features, you know what I mean? Because Cannon, I only really want to hear Cannon right now on features. I think Reach would help him be a better maybe hit maker than what he is right now. Now, that means that Reach has to give somebody up. And I think that person, to make it an even trade, because I'm trying not to. I feel like Cannon is actually, and this is kind of, I think Cannon has devalued himself. Like at one point, Cannon was at a higher level, right? So I want to say 1K or Gavi, but I think 1K or Gavi might be too valuable.
That's too much for Cannon.
Yeah,
Gavi.
Yeah, I know.
None of them equal Cannon. That's a terrible deal for I mean, for RMG. For Reach.
For Reach. Yeah,
that's a terrible deal.
Yeah, it doesn't. So maybe
Gavi's the best artist on Reach.
He's one of the biggest too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. So maybe we have to maybe we have to do the 1K Cannon thing, because I mean, at this point, 1K as we know it, he's hit or miss right now. So maybe we do the 1K Cannon swap. That way, 1K, he goes to RMG. He might maybe help them with some of them type hits a little bit more, and Cannon gets back to his roots with Lecrae maybe, and they help him make some more hits or whatever the case may be.
I can see that.
So 1K Cannon, I think that would be what I want, and I think I'm more so doing that maybe for Cannon than I am for 1K. But yeah, that's what it is.
Are they both selling the same amount of records?
Now that I don't know.
Probably
Trick
not.
yourself. You know.
I'm pretty sure 1K is selling more records, because 1K is way more, like, he's more popular and his streams are crazy.
His streams are crazy. I mean, also when you're just part of the Reach machine, you're part of the Reach machine.
Yeah, too. Like he's a more popular artist in general. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I would say just off the strength of that, because has Cannon released? I mean, has he released any new music in the last 6 months?
Nah, he was like going through something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say
Cannon. Nah, but there's Cannon. I think Cannon can get back. Cannon.
Oh, for sure, because he can rap. Like he can rap. Yeah. He just, he has a unique style that definitely needs to go with a particular sound.
Exactly. I think Reach would be the ones that can help make that hits and give them the right features for that, production for that, whatever the case may be. Whereas 1K could probably bring certain things to RMG, whatever the case may be. And I think 1K would be a nice sync artist. Which seems to be, what RMG is about right now for the most part.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that is the CHH Trade Wire. Definitely make sure to like and subscribe and let us know what you think about those trades below. And y'all help us out a little bit. Let us know what you think would be an actual real hot trade. Definitely make sure to like and subscribe. With that being said, let's move on to the next topic. Next topic is actually going to be good old Verzuz.
Where would I be without my baby?
Of course, we all got to experience Jarule and Fatjoe this week on the Verzuz. Shouts out to Tim and Swiss just outright, because Verzuz got us through COVID, didn't it? Or got us through COVID. Yeah. Not that COVID is over, but Verzuz got us through, right?
It definitely did. For sure.
Definitely. So, of course, on Tuesday, Jarule and Fatjoe went at it, and it was actually enjoyable, but I think it was very, very enjoyable because of Jarule. Mm-hmm. I was on the phone with a friend, a longtime friend, I think last week, and he just really quick, he was comparing Jarule to Drake in their hit-making capabilities. Mm-hmm. And I was like, really? Ja Rule to Drake, and then he just took out his phone and he just went down the hits of Ja Rule, and every one was a banger. And I was like, yo, he really manipulated a season. Like there was a good 2 years, 3 years where Ja just ruled the waves. You know what I mean? What happened?
Caught that.
I missed that. What did God say?
You said Ja just ruled. What you say?
He said manipulated.
Manipulated.
Hey, I knew what you meant.
Manipulated. Yes. After I had just released that great Ja just ruled the waves, and you messed it up with your manipulated. Anyway, I'm messing with you. But yeah, so he read them on. I was like, yo, Ja's gonna kill this joint right here. But this actually ended up being really, really enjoyable. Sparked a little bit of controversy that came out of the joint, but we could talk about a little bit of everything. Goss, let's start with you. What you thought about this Ja Rule Fatjoe?
Listen, I tried to tell dudes. Hold on, let me fix my camera.
Yeah, do that for us.
I'm standing up for this. You heard me. I tried to tell these dudes that nobody wants Ja Rule, bro. Nobody want to touch Ja Rule.
Nobody does.
He held the game down for 3 hot summers. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
what you gonna do? Hold on, let me talk. Let me talk.
Ahead. Do what you do.
Hold on. Let me drink my water. Hold on. Listen, Ja came in like, Joe, did you forget who I was? Did you forget who I was? He said, Joe, you was in this game before me. You was in this game now. So after me, and you still trying to catch up to me. You heard who talks like this? Ja was talking greasy to Joe. You heard me. But the thing about Verzuz is that you heard, it's like, bruh, you can't, like, people think that it's not hit for hit anymore, but Verzuz is about the feel, because now you're in front of a crowd. Plus it's New York City. So they saying these hit records that Ja Rule got ain't gonna ring off when Joe plays, his old street records, which was cool in the beginning. I'll give Joe the first round. The first round, Joe was coming with the crazy joints. Nah, he was. Joe had the bangers. The crowd was with him the first round. Not first round, before the first part 1. You know what I'm saying? And Joe, but Ja knew what he had in his pocket. Like Ja knew, like, yeah, go ahead, play that little street stuff. That's cute. Right? But then, bruh, the second half after intermission,
it's crazy. It
was game over. What you gonna do with? And then Lil Mo came out.
Yo.
Where would I be if it was what? Bro, when Mo came out, I was at a watch party. The whole room sing the whole song. Where would I be without my baby? I love my break. What?
Oh man, yeah.
And then you had Ashanti come out the joint. Oh my god.
All them hits.
Now listen, Ashanti can fart on my dinner tonight. You understand me?
Well, you
heard Ashanti has been looking real nice lately.
She gets better when she gets older, bruh. Oh my god, she's ridiculous.
She's always killed every look.
Crazy. So then Ashanti, no, because she got records with Rule and Joe. So it was like, so she would do a record with Rule, and then she stay on stage and do a record with Joe. And it's like, both these joints hit. You understand what I'm saying? Because I think Rule did the joint with Ashanti, and then they did the Joe and Ashanti joint. What's the Joe and Ashanti joint? Y'all know what I'm talking about.
The name of it. I forget the name of it.
I got the name of it.
They did it.
They did it crazy. And that joint low key hit harder than the one that he picked with Ashanti. But then Rule
Ja Rule wrote that track though.
He did say that. And then Ja Rule brought out Vita. What?
Is that Vita?
When was the last time we seen Vita?
Ain't no telling.
That house on the hill that you got me, baby. And then when I dropped, what?
Her best
Vita was going crazy.
Her best bar.
Vita was going crazy. And then Ja just kept hitting him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was too much. Like, hit him with the Bobby Brown joint. Hit him with the clap back joint. You know what I'm saying? Hit him with the Christina Milian joint. Hit him with the love it when you look at me, baby. What? It was just too much. It was just too much, bro. It was too much. Yeah. Now, Joe did come crazy when he brought Nelly out. I will give him that. Nelly kind of turned up. You know what I'm saying? And then Nelly tried to cop the hug from Ashanti. You know what I'm saying?
Right now.
Listen, he saw Shanti the same way we saw her. He was like, hold on, let me go get this hug. Let me go get these hugs real quick.
I wanted them to work. I don't know what happened there, but I really wanted them to work.
Listen, Rule got the night, yo. Rule got it. But then at the end, you know what I'm saying, Joe was like, yo, this was for Rule. Like, Rule needed that. You feel me? So that was big up to Joe, you know what I mean, who made it happen for him. Because, I mean, they both got a good check from it probably. And then Rule's streams probably increased, all that kind of stuff. Versus effect is real. You know what I'm saying? So, like, bruh, that joint was fire. Shout out to Rule. I try to tell these dudes Rule's going to crush.
Oh, for sure. I was thinking the same thing. Bree.
Sorry.
No. Go ahead, Trish.
Yeah.
My husband tried to because he's of course he's an elitist, so he's like a huge Fat Joe big Pun fan. You know what I'm saying? He's like, nah, I don't know. Pun he might be all right. You know, I was like that. I was like, you don't. He wasn't listening to rap during that era, the Jarule era, because he had just got saved. So he was like, I wasn't listening to none of that. I was like, oh, you missed that because that was great time.
And Joe had the advantage because Joe had DJ Technician, the same DJ that the Locks had. So when I saw Joe with Tech, I was like,
that's where Joe failed. Joe thought he could come out and pull a Jada Kiss, and he couldn't.
No, sir.
And Jada came out. Jada's the Floyd Mayweather of Verzuz. Yeah. He's the Floyd Mayweather of this
job. Bree, what you got? What you thought? What you saw?
I saw clips of the Verzuz, but I knew.
Bree, you ain't watch it?
I watched clips. I didn't get to watch it live.
I hate that you missed this.
I didn't get to watch it live. Good. I wanted to though, but I knew Ja was gonna run away with it though, because that whole Murder Inc. era, like I was in college during that time. It was crazy.
It was wild.
It was. But I knew he was gonna run away with that one though. Hate that I missed it.
Yeah. Trish, what you thought? What you saw? What you liked?
It brought back so many feels. Like it was super nostalgic for me because, like Bree, I was in college when all of those hits came out, and I just remember like it just brought back that feeling I got when I first heard the Jones. You know what I'm saying? All them hits with Ashanti, like where would I be without that even though I cannot stand that, I couldn't stand it back then because they kept playing it so much.
Right.
But just hearing it years later, I'm like, this is John, like, So it was like all the songs he was playing. I was like, yo, this is the John right here. This is the John right here. So yeah, it was great.
And then Trish, did you see when Joe did the Chris Brown record and Josh sang the Chris Brown record for him?
He did. He really did.
He kept saying, he was like, he said you getting beat by an R&B singing ninja, right? And I was like, that's a fact. I was like, that's a fact. You get beat, Joe. Like, you talking all that trash.
But I'll give it to Joe. Joe had the popping dance moves. Joe was out here bopping. Joe was out here.
He was going in.
Joe was going crazy with the New York Diddy bop.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then when he brought Remy Ma out, I said,
Remy album was fire.
Remy elevated the situation because
as she does.
Listen, I was like, y'all can't sleep on Remy, yo. Her verse on that, man, it's unforgettable.
So, man, that joint was nice. Ja Rule. It was a series of things. It was 50 Cent. It was Fire Festival. It was Dave Chappelle. There was a series of things that made us stop checking for Ja.
Right.
Yeah.
And but Ja ruled, like you said, a good 3 summers. He really did rule. He was writing for everybody, writing for J-Lo, writing for Mary, writing for everybody. Crack, he was killing the game. You know what I mean? And like I said, I think Ja Rule swept the whole joint pretty much. I don't think it was ever a competition.
In the first round? The first
I
time?
think yeah. I mean, because from holla holla to holla, This is just Anyway,
Who had those street joints with Big Pun? I don't want to be a player. No.
I mean, like I said, I Don't Want to Be a Player was definitely a bright spot. Lean Back was a bright spot. But I mean, shouts out to Crack for doing it. Ultimately, and what Crack said at the end was so true.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to see Ja. 50 didn't want to see Ja.
Nah, I don't know about that.
No. It's been said. Like 50 is like, I don't want to do this. 50. I mean, I think he was talking about in general, but yeah, 50. Yeah, no. 50 has Get Rich and Die Trying, and then what?
Right, because he ain't got
That's all you need.
No, don't get me wrong. I mean, I agree, but what's that? That's a good. He had a good 5 or 6 songs. We're talking about 20 songs.
Yeah, he don't have that many. Trust.
You know what I'm saying? So I thought Ja killed it, but I really think your boy Crack is the MVP. And he said it at the end, but I was thinking it before he said it. Only reason Crack did this was to put on Ja.
Sure.
He was like, look, man, y'all done forgot. Y'all done forgot. So since nobody else won't stop in the ring with Ja, I'm going to step in the ring with Ja. I'm going to talk my talk. I'm going to do my thing. I got my hits. I've done my things as well. But I know when it comes hit for hit, Ja's going to get me. But y'all won't do it. So I'm going to put on for my boy and make y'all remember who Jarule was.
Yeah.
And man, from shoot. Can I get a what? He didn't even do that, did he?
I don't think he even did that.
He didn't even do that.
Nah, he didn't even do it.
I don't even think he even did that. Jay-Z.
He did do that joint. He did 2 of the Jay-Z joints.
He did one of Jay-Z's joints. Did he do one of them? I know he did one for sure.
I thought he did both.
He did holla.
He did do that.
He did.
He didn't do that joint. Can I get a yeah, he didn't do that. He didn't do that joint. Yo, I just knew J-Lo was about to come out.
I did too when he
Are
like,
you Ellie?
He set it up. Just the way he set it up made me think like, is she about to come out?
So anyway, I think Crack was the MVP. I think we had to be reminded of what Jarule was. Jarule was a certified hit maker. That singing rapper nigga was Jarule. Y'all afraid to say nigga. I noticed that now, which is kind of funny because y'all were the main ones. Like, can we say nigga? Can we do nigga? And then y'all afraid to say nigga now. And
the thousand opinions of DJ Quote do not reflect Corey or Corey's job at Hill City Church. Wag, I didn't say none of that. Wag.
Seeing a different tone today. That's hilarious.
Which is funny because I don't even really say it like that, but it was these two jokers.
It won't me, Wags.
Asking about it.
I don't know what Quote talking about. That won't me.
Anyway, but listen, there was some controversy that sparked from this joint as well.
That's a fact.
When Little Mo and V came out and did their thing, your boy Crack was in battle mode, and he did go after these ladies.
He did,
and he called them Dusty Bees. Like, you got these Dusty Bees coming out, calling them crackheads.
Wait, no, he did.
He did.
He did.
So
I heard him say bees, but I was like, who is he talking about? I didn't know who he was talking about.
So he was in battle. So this has become an issue. Of course, Little Mo has come out now. So he was in battle mode. I'm gonna be an apologist for Crack a little bit because Cat's stories on Crack is crazy. Like, Joey is that dude that looks out for everybody and don't tell nobody as he's quietly looking out. I remember listening to a story where I think it was Steven Jackson. He was playing in New York and early in his career, and he'd be walking into a club and he'd just look over his shoulder or something like that, and there'd just be 2 Puerto Ricans just watching him. Just 2 Puerto Ricans just there. And basically, Crack has sent boys to make sure that nothing happened to Jack. You know what I mean? Wow. That Jack was going to be good. And these stories are constant stories that you hear concerning Joey. So, so this was, Angela, you said it was out of character for him. Other people said it was out of character for him to do. And he did, as I understand, he apologized to them off stage as soon as afterwards. Like, look, when he apologized to both of them, he sent a tweet out before it really broke, apologizing to both of them and whatever the case may be. But, Mo has been through some things, you know what I mean? As I understand, of course, Mo was, of course, you had the addiction thing. Mo was in an abusive relationship. Like, Mo done been through some things. And that stuff, she says, kind of triggered her, some of these comments and whatnot. And so he was a dead wrong for that. You know what I mean? He was dead wrong for that. The only reason why I'll ride from him a little bit is because everybody say that's not Joe. That's what everybody say. He was in battle mode. He was, boom, 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 boom. That's not Joe. He went too far there. We all know it. He was dead wrong. And, them ladies didn't deserve that, especially Mo. Low key, Mo deserves way more than what people give her in the game for the many, many tracks that Mo laced. And Mo was a beast, and she does not get her flowers, her credit for the beast that she was. For a good season, a good decade, you know what I mean, in the game, whatever the case may be. So shouts out to little Mo. Crack, you was wrong, but you stood up for it. But the same way you brought Ashanti and Remy them purses, you need to put something in the mail for your girl Mo.
I was like, oh. Was it Gucci bag? Was they Gucci bag?
I think they was something expensive.
I said, "Ooh, okay."
They was something expensive, but that's been Verzuz again. Shout out to Swiss and Timberland for really holding us down through COVID with Verzuz, which has been a true blessing, a true celebration of culture, and making sure that a lot of people get their flowers, not just in the mainstream, but even the gospel world. I mean, that Kirk Franklin, Fred Hammond joint was beastly.
That was great.
That joint was beastly. There's been so many great joints. So again, shouts out to Verzuz. Let's get into our last topic of the night. This is actually kind of interesting, right? It's kind of interesting. What's that? Yeah. So your man's legend, gospel legend, and just nobody has anything evident to say about John P. Key. John P. Key's music used to, whew, man. But John P. Key was like, yo, he sent this tweet out, and I'm going to try to read it past the Christians Don't Listen to CHH joint. Hey, switch the banner for me real quick. The Christians Don't Listen to CHH to like and subscribe real quick for me. John P. Key tweeted out, and y'all wonder why I roll different. No hateration. I can just afford to say what many of you guys are afraid to breathe. You mean to tell me every slot? Come on. Nah. So what he's talking about is how Kanye literally took over the gospel charts with each one of his songs, every single slot. It was crazy on the gospel charts. And so that's what happened. This has happened before, actually. The gospel world sometimes feels some kind of way about it. Sometimes they say stuff. But let's talk about this. Ultimately, nobody in gospel has the bankroll to hang with Kanye, first and foremost. But this also leads into, why is it that Christians don't really listen to maybe gospel music or worship music as much? But then more so for what we do, and even more so, why don't Christians rock with Christian hip hop? Hip hop is huge, right? Hip hop is pop, right? At this point. And hip hop is huge. And you would think more Christians would listen to CHH, but it doesn't seem to happen. And I'm wondering, why do we think this is? Because if more Christians listen to CHH, then these streams would be up. These, this genre would probably be more recognizable. These artists would be probably more popular, on and on and on and on. C. Goss, why don't more Christians, actually, I'm sorry, Trish, why don't more Christians listen to CHH?
Well, first of all, CHH sounds the same. Like, a lot of it sounds the same. And when you don't get a lot of variety in a sound, it's hard to stay committed. For me, that's part of the case for me. And then a lot of it I just don't really rock with. I just
Does
don't
hip
really.
hop sound the same to you sometimes? Just listening to hip hop?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So not
I
just
think it's
CHH,
more
but
the,
mainstream hip hop as well.
yeah, more of the like mainstream, like popular, like type of songs. Not necessarily all of hip hop, of course, but like a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? Just sounds the same. And yeah, I'm not interested in hearing the same sound over and over again. And then when it comes to like content, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, which is I would say across the board with it's CHH and a lot of mainstream hip hop. The
Mainstream hip
content is
hop.
like so whack to me. So yeah, that's mainly why I don't listen to it. And then we have a lot of music coming out, like a lot from all kinds of people. So it's hard for me to like keep up with, who's hot right now and who, I mean, of course, because I'm around the genre, I know who is kind of like hot or whatever, but I don't necessarily think just because the rest of the community thinks they're popping, I don't always agree. So yeah, that's my take.
So Trisha's take is the monotony. It's too much of the same. But that's not just Christian hip hop for you. That's mainstream hip hop
For
as
sure.
well. So
Yeah.
you don't necessarily just listen to hip hop all day. Period.
No. I'm an R&B. I love R&B. Like if Christian hip hop, like the people within it had more of that R&B sound, listen, I'm here for it. But I like Byron Joanne and Jalen and Sean. Like, was it Jalen and Sean? Yeah, they all have the similar names. But Jalen and Sean is a rapper, right? Let me
Yeah, singer.
He's
Singer,
singing.
right. Okay, Jalen Sean and Byron Jawan. Yes, both of them I really, really like. But it's not a lot of that anymore. Like Kristen Gray was that dude. he delivered when it came.
We had a season where we had the Christian Grays, the Chauncey Johnsons, the Cams, the Chris Lee Cobbins, the Pastor 83s.
All of them, all of them. But they're not really doing nothing now like that. So I'm like, y'all need to come back. Right now is the time to come back. I would say. I feel like, just music in general just needs a new sound. You know what I'm saying? The mainstream R&B world, they got the alternative R&B, which is great, and they're killing. Everybody in that subgenre is killing. So
what would you consider alternative R&B?
Kiana Lede, her is kind of considered alternative, though she's becoming more popular because her talent. So many people.
I'm wondering why you consider to me those are the true R&B artists. Why do you consider them alternative?
Well, that's the category that they've been put in. Yeah.
Now we've got neo soul R&B. And now we've got this okay. I didn't know this alternative R&B thing.
Yeah, because it's more like the neo soul has become obsolete, and it's more so the alternative R&B. So neo soul kind of is more of a alternative R&B, but it's got more of the R&B, like true to R&B sound to me. So yeah, I feel like all them cats that used to be doing it in the CHH world, they need to come back.
It's the monotony. What you think, Bree? What's your thoughts on this? Why don't Christians listen to CHH?
Well, I know from what I've heard other people say, they think it's whack. They think that the quality isn't as good as secular. I don't think, within the last few years, it's not like it used to be back when I started listening to Christian hip hop back in '92. Like, I remember those days. But it's improved a lot.
We would all agree now, right, that that's no longer really an issue, right?
That's not
for the most part.
That's not a relevant argument anymore.
Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that stigma still is there.
But it's still there because it's like, I was talking to somebody the other day and their reference to Christian hip hop was the song that T-Bone and Montel Jordan did in the Fighting Temptations. And I was like, wow. So
Wow,
I'm like,
that's been
yeah,
a
I'm
minute.
like,
Yeah.
there are other artists out since then, and even during that time. So I mean, it's just like that. There are some people who are traditional and they want to stick to gospel, and that's it. And they feel hip hop is worldly, so Christian hip hop is automatically going to be worldly too. Like that's a ridiculous argument. But I mean, I've always listened to it just because I've grown up listening to gospel, but I never liked, the traditional stuff. Like that was just never my thing. Choirs and quartets, like even if I listen to choirs, it was Hezekiah Walker and John P. Key anyway. So I've always been contemporary in my music choices. So CHH was just a natural fit for me. Other people, not so much. But
Okay.
they like what they like.
So there's a lot of layers to this conversation, though, because to the conversation of why Christians don't listen to Christian hip hop, you have Christians that don't listen to gospel music. I pose something or Christian music, especially in the culture that I'm been part of. There's a lot of people, people who I attend church with, and they'll never turn on a CCM station, but they'll go to a Dan and Shay concert, or they'll go to listen to the radio and they have their favorite, pop artists or whatnot. And I think growing up, we had the idea that I'm a Christian, so I have to listen to Christian music only. I can't listen to anything else. So one of those layers is you're forced to listen to it if you grew up like I grew up, and you couldn't listen to anything else because you thought because I identify as a Christian means I can only listen to Christian music. Where even that idea was perpetuated at your youth camps, where they tell you to break up all your secular CDs and you throw them in the fire, right? So like, there's this idea, first of all, that I think is still within us that if music's not Christian, then it's evil and it's not good, and secular is bad, right? Now there's a difference between secular music and ungodly music, but like all secular music isn't bad. You understand what I'm saying? So that layer and that stigma is still there. And then you have not the stigma, but it's this feeling like, yo, Christian hip hop, y'all trying to make Jesus cool. Like, I'm not going to a club to hear Christian hip hop. I don't want to turn on the radio and hear Christian hip hop. And I think there's a lot of ministry that happens in Christian hip hop, and you feel like you're in church every single time you listen to a Christian hip hop record back in the day, right? So it was like, but I don't want to listen. I just got out of church on Sunday. I want to chill and relax. It's a nice sunny day. Like, is it okay for me not to listen to Jesus music right now? Like, is that cool? Like, so it's like, yo, I just don't want to hear about Jesus right now. And that's fine. Like, that's not a bad thing that you just want to exist and maybe listen to a Stevie Wonder record, or you want to listen to a Drake record, or you want to listen to something else, right? So within Christian music,
Stevie Wonder, by the way.
I got you. So within Christian music, we not force ourselves. We kind of live under the stigma of this I'm a Christian, so I can only listen to that. So that's why now that we had this enlightenment where I can love Jesus and listen to Drake. Oh, snap. I bet. Well, I ain't listening to Christian hip hop then. so I know so it's more so like for me, I know personally, I don't listen to a lot of Christian hip hop because it's like, it sounds like they're trying to sound like a certain version of a secular thing. Just like Shobaraka said, if I want to listen to Drake, I'll listen to Drake. I don't want to hear this person rap and sound like Drake and be like, yo, this is just as good. Because you know why? There's nothing wrong with listening to Drake. Right. So we've stamped it as this is the alternative. And we all know the alternative is usually not better than the original, or not better than what you're trying to compare it to. So that's there too. You got that layer to get over. And it's like, bruh, like when we had Christian clubs and Christian parties and things like that, and they would play Christian music, like, yo, you go to the club to dance with girls. Like you go to, like, well, dudes do. Like, you don't go to the club to two-step 6 feet apart. So it's like that, like, what is this? Like, I don't want to listen to, a Tone record. Now, Tone makes fire music, don't get me wrong. But I don't want to listen to a Tone record, and I'm trying to, like, talk to the girl and dance with her, but I can't dance with her the way I want to. You know what I'm saying? So it's a thing of us getting past the barrier that, first of all, we can listen to more than just Christian music, but that does hurt the genre as well too, because Christians are typically the people buying Christian music. So, it's like once you like tell them that they don't have to listen to only Christian music, you might lose your audience because they may not buy records anymore. They'll come to your concerts and they'll do whatever, but it's going to be difficult probably for them to buy records. So, and there's so much other stuff and so many layers I can go on. But yeah, that's probably some of the main reasons why we don't listen to Christian hip hop.
Okay. I don't know. Like, I'm still trying to, like, I hear what all of you guys are saying. I think I definitely can feel, I feel a little bit of whatever all of you guys are saying. I still feel like, I don't necessarily feel like it's, I checked for it. It didn't vibe. So I checked out. I feel like cats ain't checking.
Yeah, that's true too.
That's my thought.
No, that plays a part.
Whether it's not a knowledge spot, whether it's just I don't know where to go to listen to it. I'm more so talking about that at large. Like, why don't the majority of Christians? I mean, I don't even think some cats even really know. You feel what I'm saying?
Do you think that's a true statement though? That Christians don't listen to, or Christians who listen to hip hop, do you think that they don't listen to Christian hip hop?
I believe that's 100% a true statement. I think the numbers tell the story.
Okay.
I think the numbers tell the story on that one. Yeah. So I think it's more, or as a music pusher, I've always felt that it was my job to introduce people to Christian hip hop because they don't know a lot of times or whatever. Or maybe what they might have heard really wasn't what it, and then they decided never to come back or something like that. I don't know. It's really kind of hard to really make sense of it for me. I definitely understand the monotony piece that Trisha brought up because that's just me in hip hop. I'm a music head. I love R&B. I love jazz. I love big band music from the 50s. You know what I mean? I love music. You know what I mean? So hip hop. That there's some other genres that I might put above hip hop if I'm being totally honest with myself, because I am a music pusher, a lot of the music I check for and listen to is actually not for my enjoyment or me, but it's to actually, get it out there. It's almost like, a low key calling or something like that. Like I believe I'm meant to build platforms and push out these artists of these urban Christian content, kind of whatever the case may be. So that's what I do. It's not always for my necessarily enjoyment. My whole point of all that says is I believe there's a lot of people that still don't even really know about the genre or the opportunity, the many artists of different styles, even hip hop wise, that do it. You know what I mean? There was a time when urban Christian music, R&B, was extremely popping. From honestly the late 90s, it was really, really, really huge. And then we had a kind of a resurgent in maybe the late 2000s, 2000 maybe 9 to 2013, 14. There was another real surge of Christian R&B that was really, really popping. But now that's kind of
JR was popping.
JR was popping, yeah. But there was a time though when JR was almost the only cat really doing it.
True, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about more so when there was a collective of cats. Like there was a bunch of, like in the late 90s, there was a bunch of R&B cats. That were doing urban Christian music. You know what I mean? Whether it was J Moss, Tone, Nancy Jackson, Ryan's Phase 2. But there was a plethora of urban cats, you know what I mean? Doing urban Christian music. Till, like I said, the 2009s or 2013s when you had the Sanchi Johnsons, the Christian Grays, the Cams, the Chris Lee Cobbins, you know what I mean? Where there's a plethora. And I'm just talking, that's the guys. I mean, of course, now we have, still V Rose and, Evan and Eris and different cats that really try to pop up the R&B, but there needs to be a change in the monotony. I believe we need that. So that is very, very true. I still feel like it's an exposure thing. I feel like it has not been exposed to enough people.
We ain't got no money.
Oh, well, that's what I was about to say. I was gonna say
we broke.
So the issue, I think the main issue is why cats aren't even coming back to CHH is because there's no money for them. There's no like proper recognition. They don't get the respect that they're due. They're mistreated. Like, CHH, the industry, the behind the scenes is a hot mess. Okay. It's a hot mess.
I agree, but I feel like the music industry is like that in general.
Yes, however,
gospel, CHH, mainstream.
Sure. Mainstream, I would say mainstream has some messiness, but they're more professional in their dealings.
About their messiness.
Well, I would say about their money. They get their money. You see what I'm saying? Like that's the difference. Like the difference is the professionalism and the way that they it's just the operations. There's an operation. There's an infrastructure. CHH does not have that still. And if people will say that they do, listen.
It's still being built.
Not there. It does not exist. Yeah. If it ain't coming for Reach, and even Reach's infrastructure, I mean, it's a little shaky. Like,
I think Quote would agree with you though, because Quote always tells me like there's no structure in CHH, and he's trying to bring structure to the game, and
that's always been my thing. Is how can I bring structure to this?
Yeah, and like you'll even be so we was doing concerts, and we'll be backstage, and like the artists trying to holler at us about stuff that they see structurally that we're doing, and they're like, "Yo, so like you do this? Like this is what you could do?" I'm like, "Yo, this guy asking me like, can I help him? Like I'm thinking that you got this all together." And you're trying to recruit my man over here who did the graphics for us.
That's what happens because when the few of us that are doing it well, right, who are giving off the professionalism, right, if they see it and they're like, "Yo, like this what we need right here." But listen, I
yeah, not hear you.
This is a whole nother conversation that we can have, but that's the main reason why cats are not coming back. Like. I know one person, somebody in particular, who did a lot of features for Reach, and he like, I'm good where I'm at, writing for mainstream folk. You know what I'm saying? Making that kind of money and doing other things. You know what I'm saying? Other things that's outside of music that's making him more money, which makes sense to me. But it's actually very sad to him because he's super talented. And we could use his voice in the CHH space, but
McDowell? Who?
Say it again.
Was McDowell? Who?
No.
Okay.
But
shout out to Dimitri.
It's like I be
my
trying
guy.
to have hope. I be having hope for CHH to like do better and just be better. And I have I try to put my influence in there however I can. Like I want to help. I would love to help the artists, and I do on some level. But I want to be realistic too. It's like I don't know that only me or just two of us can change the whole subgenre. Like it's got to be, it's got to be a plethora of us trying to and coming together though, not just doing it, on our own, but coming together and doing what we do best. To make sure that this infrastructure is laid out properly. But it's just, this has been an ongoing conversation for so many years that, I mean, that's exactly what I did the South by Southwest joint on. It was doing business in CHH. Like how does that look? What is it even? What is it even? Like, and I don't know, bro.
And a lot of us behind the scenes people have started to come together a little bit. Probably not as much as we need to. There's been so much focus on the artists, and there needs to be a season of focusing on the managers, the promoters, the booking agents, on and on and on, people who can really help build structure for what we do here. And you're right, that is part of what's needed to make sure that the infrastructure is built, money is coming in, which then pushes out marketing and stuff like that. So eventually we have to take our focus off of the artists, which I don't know when that's going to happen, because right now we have artists plethora of artists who are eating off of Christian hip hop.
For sure.
Yeah, plenty. We got plenty of artists who are living off of Christian hip hop, whether it's merch, whether it's production, whether it's touring, whatever the case may be. We've got artists who are doing that. But we don't have a lot of behind the scenes people who are able to do that consistently. And so that's going to be an issue. There's so many things, but I still feel like there's a piece we're missing. And I don't know what that piece is necessarily, though we've all touched on different things as to what it is. I mean, because even if you think about it, I mean, I think youth groups blast Christian hip hop like crazy. So you would think that they would know coming up. But Christianity is a funny thing though, because salvation, doesn't always happen just as a child, right? So there's always new people coming in. There's always new fans to be garnered of the genre. It's really a peculiar thing. It's a big situation that has to be tackled. But I still feel like not enough people know about Christian hip hop. And even if they get a taste of it, I'm not sure that they fully know where to go next.
Sure. I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that. And I think a part of that problem plays into it because, what am I saying? I said that wrong, but my sentence structure game is terrible. But something that is not helping that problem is when Christian hip hop artists don't want to use the title and don't want to use the name. And then the ones that do want to stick and use the name, they're not as good as the ones that don't want to use the name. So when you type in a Christian hip hop artist, you might get an artist that's not necessarily the greatest. As good as the other. That's a possibility as well. I really think, and honestly, just part of the structure and infrastructure is music pushers, is DJ, is program managers, is radio. We could talk about radio dying all we want, but it's still out there. It's still pushing. It's still number one advertisers, you know what I mean, and different things of that nature. So radio is still doing the thing. And the fact that Christian hip hop hasn't had solid radio play as much as all these other genres is definitely something that affects the conversation as well. Mm-hmm. So all of this, the infrastructure, I think, is probably the part that might be hurting the most. This one escapes me as somebody who feels like I'm theoretically low-key called to build these structures and foundations for these artists and whatnot, and these systems. I mean, at this age, I've been doing this for the last 20 years, and I'm starting to feel like, not that hope is gone, but I'm starting to feel like, man, I really didn't do a good enough job. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So it's not a job for one person, but
right. I would encourage you not to think like that, because I think you guys have done a lot, and that's all you can do. You know what I'm saying? You again, I think it has to be a collective effort, and and I think we need to correct what needs to be corrected. Like, calling people out when they're doing business shady or doing, you know what I mean? Like, because that also hurts the genre. It hurts us. That's why people are walking away.
I mean, I'm gonna throw a name out just because it's no secret, but I'm just gonna say Miss, and what happened with Miss hurt a lot of situations as well.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Who you talking about?
I don't know who you're talking about.
No.
That's what I thought you was talking about.
Hold on. What was?
Man, just say the name, man.
What was it?
Yeah. That.
So.
I don't know who that is either.
Did I get the name?
That messed up things for me.
Messed up things for everybody.
I know.
And it's two sides of the coin, right? Because not only did she mess some things up,
5 minutes,
but she had a lot of the answers too. Like, she was very, very talented.
Gotcha. And 5 minutes.
In what she did. Right? Was she not? She was extremely talented in what she did. Yeah. She was responsible for some of the biggest things, like the 116 tours and different things like that. Yeah. She was a key person who could help bring what needed to be brought. And for Reach, she did. And I feel like, and for others, she started to a little bit as well. But then when the nonsense kind of went down, which, and maybe we gotta, I mean, I don't, I wasn't in those rooms to know whether or not.
Trisha said I was.
I wasn't in those rooms. I know different cats that were affected.
Give her some water. Give her some water.
I wasn't in those rooms to know if there was a way to make things right.
No. Mm-mm. There was an attempt, and I listen. Lecrae is a gracious man. People be talking about that man. I'm like, y'all don't even know what this man has gone through. I don't care what anybody got to say about him. Like, I'd be like, shut up, because you don't know. Like, grace, the grace that you have to have. Like, that's all I'm going to say. But no, like, there was attempts, and it was still sit in the camp. And so it had to be over with. And it's unfortunate. It's super unfortunate because, like you said, she was like the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? And I think it just it messed up a lot for women in that case. That's why I said
I didn't even think about that.
That's why I only said, when I said for me, and yes, for everybody, but also somebody like myself.
Yeah.
It was like, I was like, dang, like, sis, like what? I'm out here I'm trying to be like you, and you over here just wrecking shop. You over here.
I know she at least, I know for sure got Cray. She got Derek, and she messed up some things for Adia as well. I know for sure.
That's Adia. Okay. Yes. Her and Swift and well, no, it wasn't Swift. I'm sorry, that was somebody else. Leah Smith. I don't know if y'all know who Leah Smith is. But
she's on Triple E Records.
She was on a trajectory of going up with, and that's when it hit, because that's when she had.
I didn't know Leah was involved.
She had started her stuff. Because I was Leah's makeup artist when she was on 106 in Park and all that stuff. So I was there. I was there, and everything was going up, and then it just. Yeah.
I don't know what y'all talking about, but it sounds juicy.
So I mean, to be clear, and we've already said the name. I'm not going to say the name again, but this person had the keys.
Literally.
She was a beast at what she did, what she could do, and unfortunately, through some integrity situations, the walls came down, and then when everything starts crumbling down, everybody else's walls start going up, and so it really set a lot of people back, messed up a lot of different things. When she's literally the one that I would love to sit under her and learn some things, and have, so that's why I'm like, man, was there any room for redemption? Like, could she be forgiven and grace? But obviously it really didn't.
That's why she started her own thing. Because literally, again, Lecrae, like I think I heard him tell this story on somebody's I don't remember where he spoke out about it, but yeah, like there was opportunity for her to right the wrong by letting her leave Reach and giving her own situation. After, like, who does that? No, I would not have done that. I'm not gonna lie. You take a bunch of stuff from me, you out, and I ain't gonna help you do nothing else after that. Good, may God bless you. But and then it's still after all of that, still it crumbled.
Yo, they kicking me out the building because it's past 9:00 and U-turn closes at 9. So I gotta roll.
That's what it is. I think we were at the conclusion pretty much. Again, thank you guys for choosing for checking into our little group chat here where we just talk about the different things that we know, whatever the case may be. If you know ways or think you know ways that Christian hip hop could build more structure and have more infrastructure, and the word can get out to more people about what's happening in the world of Christian hip hop, make sure to let us know in the comments below. Like, subscribe. We've let you guys into some things that go on behind the scenes. That's what we do here as Tastemakers. And with that, of course, that's your girl Trish. That's your man Seagull. He likes to be called Light Skin Corey. That's Brina. I'm Quote. We'll see you guys next week on the Tastemakers Pod.